Welcome in to the CHGO Blackhawks postgame podcast presented by DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook. Download the app and use promo code CHGO when you sign up. Welcome in. Hawks lose 3-1 to the Winnipeg Jets, who they just can't seem to stop freaking playing. Jay Zawaski and Mario Tirabassi here with you. Hawks lose another one, and I think I put out in my tweet today before the show that while it was a loss, there are some bright spots to talk about. But again, it's another of those gritty, hard-fought losses. One of those copy and paste shows. It really is.
Yeah, I mean, it's this team is who they are, and the results are following suit. The Jets are a team that I think a lot of people have been surprised by. I think at this point of the season now, most teams getting to or surpassing the 25-game mark, you're starting to realize who teams are, what their actual identity is. And these are two teams going in opposite directions. The Jets are trending up, and the Blackhawks are technically, you could say, trending down, but they've been down for a while, and they're supposed to be down here. And this is a team that doesn't have a ton of bright spots, but tonight, Taylor Raddysh ends the scoreless drought for the Blackhawks after being shut out in their last two games. So good for him. Philip Kurashev got the assist on the Raddysh goal. He had a strong game. Arvid Soderblom, he can't score goals. He can only do his best to stop goals. Yeah. Other than that, it's just, there's little bits and pieces to like, and there's a lot that you just go, you know what, this team is just not good, and it's following suit. So we're getting into December, and then it'll be January, and then it'll be February, and then we're just chugging along. The tank is chugging along.
That's what it is. It's just plowing through the village and leaving very few survivors as it rolls through. The Winnipeg Jets, by the way, if you haven't been paying attention, first place in the Central Division. They're 2 points up on Dallas with one fewer game played. And this is kind of what people have expected from the Jets for a few years here.
Yeah.
And they're finally starting to put it all together. Hellebuck didn't play tonight. Riddick played, but Hellebuck's one of the best goalies in the game. And you look at the Jets, and they're big, and they're fast, and they're deep, and they're a team that should be contending every year. Mm-hmm. And for a lot of time, like for a few years, they were a sexy pick. And if anything, they fell short of expectations, and I think underachieved. Now, I don't think they're overachieving. I think they're playing to their potential. And Rick Bowness is doing a great job as their head coach, getting them ready to play. They have been the Hawks' toughest opponent all year. Yeah. They have completely what is it? Is it 14-3?
0-3
is the series?
Yeah,
I think so.
That sounds right. Might be 14-4. I can't.
Yeah, it's something like
math.
Completely lopsided.
It's not close.
And again, like the Hawks did some good things in this game, but like we say all the time, it's really hard to muster up anger when it's just a matter of talent. Mm-hmm. And we were talking as the show began, looking at some of the Hawks performances, and the lowest scored player on the Blackhawks tonight was Patrick Kane. And we did our mid-season awards, and was it you or Greg that voted for Kane as most disappointing?
That'd be me.
That was you, and you know what? I think, like you said, we're at the 26th game mark now.
Yeah, 26 was it.
And you're starting to see a trend, and he's not a factor. He can have all these shots on goal, but very few high danger chances for Patrick Kane. You really don't notice him unless you're looking for, like, you see him with the puck and you start to get your hopes up. Mm-hmm. 6 shots on goal. That's great. Led the Hawks by a wide margin, but were any of them really difficult saves, or
I think
maybe one or two.
I think
decent shots?
I think he had two really good looks, trying to go like short. I believe it was short side on Raddysh, like high corner short side. That I think one hit the post, one hit Raddysh right in the side of the face. But I mean, those are shots and openings that only players like Patrick Kane can try and go for.
Sure.
And even in those opportunities, they're not falling. And I don't know if it's snake bitten or if it's actually me. I don't want to say he's lost anything, but you start to wonder a little bit. You start to wonder where his game is at now as he's progressing in his career. And as we talk continuously about whether or not he will or won't be traded, does or does not want to be traded, whatever, we always say like, okay, well, the points and production aren't to the level of Patrick Kane that we expect, but if he is traded to team XYZ, oh well, he'll be surrounded by better players. His play will elevate. Maybe I'm starting to, a little bit of doubt is starting to creep in on that, and I wonder if other teams around the league, other GMs around the league, notice that.
It's interesting because I think the question becomes: is he losing ability, or is he getting frustrated?
Right. Yeah.
And I think you could if I had to bet, like let's say this, like let's say Patrick Kane, all the rumors come true and he gets traded to the Rangers.
Sure.
Do you think him on the Rangers is going to be this, or Colorado, another team that's been in a conversation? Do you think you're going to see the same performance from him in those places? I don't think so.
Probably not.
I really think it is he's frustrated. He is missing the guys he's always had with him, be it Panarin, be it DeBrincat, to finish what he starts. Look, the Hawks don't have any finishers on their team,
No.
aside from Patrick Kane, and he can't pass to himself.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, and I want to be clear. I'm not blaming Patrick Kane for what's happening with the Hawks at all, but when you're struggling and when the offense is not performing as you want your best players to be the guys that kind of pull you out of that slump. Mm-hmm. And he's not been able to do it. Taves hasn't been able to do it. And when your two best offensive players are Taylor Raddysh and Philip Kurashev, love those guys. They both play hard. They're both nice players, but they can't be your two biggest offensive threats.
Right, yeah.
That just simply can't happen.
It won't get you anywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think there is something to, this is the most losing and the most bleak, I guess you could say, from a player's perspective of a season that Jonathan Toews and Patrick Kane have gone through in their NHL career.
Definitely.
Even when their rookie season, they just missed the playoffs. Like, and they were playing at a high level, and they were playing on a team that was ready to take the next step in contending. Yes. This is the complete opposite. This is a team taking the first step in being awful. And they're experiencing that. And yeah, I think it's very, it is very fair to say that that's probably weighing on both those players, but probably on Patrick Kane the most, because I think, with Toews, the expectations for him weren't that high based off of what happened last year with him, with coming back from missing the entire 2021 season. But for Kane, he had the third best season of his career as far as points go last season on a bad Blackhawks team. Mm-hmm. And I think expectations were still like, yeah, this team's going to be bad, but he's still going to get his points. He's not getting his points. And like you said, like he's not playing with close to equal, or, some may argue Panarin's better at this point in his career now. I think that, and that's a fair argument. He's not playing with guys at that level that he has in the past. So it's really hard. And I think, there are some players that you just plug them in to any roster and they're going to get their points. And I think this season we're really, seeing that Patrick Kane is still he's still a great player. He still can do things on the ice that most other players in the NHL can't do. But the core of his game is setting up others in ways that other people can't get the
Yes.
puck to a shooter. And like you said, like if you don't have someone who on the other end of those passes who can finish those chances, they're going to go by the wayside.
Yeah, that's absolutely true, and it's got to be frustrating for Kane. And you could see, I mean, look, he's never been shy about his body language on the ice, and when he's frustrated, you can see it.
Yeah.
And I think you are seeing him frustrated, and it's really, I mean, you can understand it. I know we want to say, like, you make $10.5 million and you're wearing an A on your sweater and bootstraps and all those things, but
Well, that's what people say about Seth Jones.
they're not. Well, we'll get to that in a second. But he's just not used to it. I even heard Justin Fields say the other day that he's not used to losing. It's a guy who's won at every level he's ever played in.
Yeah, it's true.
And it's frustrating to experience something you've never experienced before. And you're right about their rookie year. Yeah, they just missed the playoffs, but you can see these young guys getting together, being excited about the light at the end of the tunnel.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, the end of the tunnel for Patrick Kane is another team.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's tough for him to. So maybe his light at the end of the tunnel is getting traded, and
Yeah.
that's tough. It's tough. And I think part of him is probably a little bit sad about that potential. You know, you've got visions as you're winning Stanley Cups and having parades and all these things are happening, and you're having this wonderful career in Chicago that it's just going to be that way until you retire, and you're going to ride off into the sunset. Your statue's going to go up, your number's going to go up, and it's going to be great. He probably didn't expect this. And while you can predict a drop-off, I don't think he ever predicted, or any of us really, predicted that this quickly after a Stanley Cup, 7 years? That they would be the worst team in hockey, which they're right on the verge of being.
Yeah, and I mean, it was, a few years after that 2015 Cup where they were still in contention, and the expectation was to still be in contention. That may have been smoke and mirrors, but even still, with those teams, it was the narrative that, well, you still have Taze and Kane and Keith and Seabrook, and for a few years after 2015, you still had Marian Hossa, and it was you have all these guys here, they still can drag teams into the postseason, and that just ended up not being the case. And yeah, I think there's something to the maybe shock of the realization of how bad this season is going for Patrick Kane, both, just from a personal production standpoint, but also from just team wins and losses. And also, not knowing how to deal with that. Last year, we heard Jonathan Taze at the end of last season saying, like, I don't know how to be a captain on a tanking team, or I don't know how to lead a team that's supposed to lose, or anything like that. And we harped on him pretty hard for that. But I think there is some truth to that, because he had never been in that kind of realm before. And Patrick Kane, the same way, hasn't been the star player on a terrible team before. So yeah, I think that there's a lot that goes into that. And if you listen to the latest 32 Thoughts podcast with Jeff Merrick and Elliot Friedman, Elliot Friedman was kind of spitballing about, maybe Patrick Kane is not thinking about being traded and not wanting to move at the trade deadline and then move to another team in free agency. Is he still contemplating the records for Stan Mikita?
Which he said he wasn't.
Which he said, yeah. But he kind of has come out and said that's not really something I'm thinking about. But Kane is not said one way or the other. He's kept a very hard line about, I'm taking it one day at a time. I'm not thinking about trades or anything beyond this season or anything like that. Just trying to focus on this season. He has really kept at that, and he's done a really good job of that. But I wonder how long that lasts. And there's potential for him to maybe say, you know what, I don't want to leave Chicago before I have to, so we'll ride out this season and then hit the market in the summer. There could be some truth to that. I don't know. It's all speculation until either one of Jonathan Toews and Patrick Kane say that they want to be traded.
Yeah, and you sort of mentioned, like, I wonder if this lowers his trade value at all. I don't think so. I think teams are looking at the reality of this and looking at the roster and looking at who he's playing with and saying, what do you want the guy to do?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's tough. And we've been talking about, getting Lucas Reichel up here and how it might be beneficial for him to get a couple games with Kane and Toews. Maybe it just gives them an option to have someone that can score on his wing. Mm-hmm. Someone in the chat said he's missing that right-handed shot winger. Reichel is left-handed, so that doesn't really solve that problem too much.
No.
But it's a guy that can score. I don't know. It's so tough because the goal here is to do exactly what's happening.
Yeah.
Kyle Davidson didn't build this team to have them win. That's clear. But at the same time, for the good of the guys that are here and the guys that are out there, giving everything they can every night, which I think for the most part guys are doing, at some point you got to throw them a bone a little bit and say, look, like, we get it. We didn't put you in the best situation here, but we're going to at least try to fix something to make it a little bit better. Because every night, like, as soon as they got down 2 goals, the game was over.
Yeah, you didn't expect a 2-goal comeback.
Yeah, and there's just no one who's going to will you to that victory anymore. Like, the hot streak of Jason Dickinson and Sam Lafferty are long over. There's just no
Even
one.
Toews has cooled off too.
Yeah,
extremely.
It's tough, and I feel for these guys. And when I said there's bright spots, that's kind of where I want to get to next, because I do think when you look at the whole of what's happening here, there are a lot of guys in an entire team really that could just say, F this, I'm just going to play at 75%. I'm not going to get myself hurt and just call it a day. But guys are not doing that. And I think they deserve some praise for that. But first, we want to tell you about our friends at DraftKings Sportsbook. Light the lamp this winter with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL. New customers can bet just $5 pregame money line on any NHL team to win their game and get $150 in free bets if they do. If that wasn't enough excitement, you can turn small bets into bigger payouts with same-game parlays. I just missed mine today.
Yeah.
I had the Jets scoring first.
Got it.
The Jets leading after the first.
Got it.
Blake Wheeler to score a goal. And Pierre-Luc Dubois to score a goal, and he did not. He was on the ice with the empty net. $5 would have won me $60 if that bet hit. So I just missed it with the Pierre-Luc Dubois. But that is the fun of those same-game parlays. You hit one of those, and you're sitting pretty for a long time. That is my favorite way to play at DraftKings. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use promo code CHGO. Bet $5 on any NHL team to win their game and get $150 in free bets if they do, only at DraftKings Sportsbook with code CHGO. Minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. See show notes for details.
And if you do hit one of those same-game parlays and cash in your big old betting ticket, you can cash that in and use it on some game tickets with the Game Time app, the hottest new ticketing site that makes it easier than ever to score the best deals on tickets to sports, concerts, and shows. Any event you ever wanted to go to, Game Time can get you the best deal. Ever dreamed of sitting in a seat you never thought you could, like the 50-yard line at the Bears game, or courtside for a Bulls game, or right on the glass for a Hawks game? With Game Time, you can make it possible. It's the app with the biggest last-minute price drops that can be found on the seats you never thought you could buy. I know Blackhawks fans, if you are still making it out to the game, it's still a good atmosphere at the United Center, even though the action on the ice usually leaves you disappointed. But come out to a Blackhawks game with the Game Time app. You're going to find great deals on tickets to those games. After tonight, the next home game is on Tuesday night. That is against the Washington Capitals, and Alex Ovechkin, who is chasing the goal-scoring record of Gordie Howe and Wayne Gretzky. He had another empty netter tonight. That is now 796, I believe, if my memory serves me right. 796 for Ovechkin.
I can't believe he's going to pass Gretzky.
He probably will.
I think he's going to.
Probably
a
will.
record I never thought would fall.
It won't pass him in points though, but goals, yes, that looks in sight. But the Capitals play on Sunday night against these same Winnipeg Jets that the Blackhawks just played. So that's another game for Ovechkin to play before he comes to town on Tuesday. There is a chance he could reach 800 at the United Center.
Yeah.
And last I checked, about $15 gets you in the door using the Game Time app. Not a bad deal to try.
It's gone up.
Oh,
it's $16.
$16. Too rich for my blood. Yeah, use the Game Time app, and you can see the grade 8 in town against the Blackhawks as he continues to chase the record. And if you love CHGO, you're going to love Game Time. The best way to support us is by buying your tickets through the link in the description, and join over 15 million people who have downloaded the Game Time app and scored the best seats to all of your favorite events.
My favorite Gretzky fact, by the way, most people know this, but in case you don't, Wayne Gretzky is hockey's all-time leading goal scorer, as you know. He is also, obviously, hockey's all-time leading scorer.
Points.
If you take away all of his goals, he is still the all-time leading scorer.
It's insane. It's one of my favorite stats.
When you talk about dominant athletes, I think that is like the argument ender.
Oh, for sure.
If you take away all of his goals, which make an NHL record, he is still the NHL's all-time leading scorer.
Like, not even in basketball can you be like, well, if you take away LeBron James's 3-point shots, he's still going to be no. Like, that's not going to the case. It's Gretzky is just absolutely in a class by himself. And yeah, was he in an era where some of the guys that he played against, some of the goaltenders he played against were, not up to today's standards? Sure.
Yeah.
But if you dropped him in today's game, he would still be elite of the elite.
Yes.
So it's definitely one of those things where it's not like, oh, well, he just played against a bunch of plumbers. Like, he was playing in a big era.
Well,
and
guess what? A lot of people were playing in that era too. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like there were
greats.
other guys that couldn't do what he was doing.
Yeah.
I heard him on the Smart List podcast. I love that podcast because Will Arnett, Canadian hockey player, always puts hockey guys on. He had Gretzky on, he had Shanahan on, some others.
Nice.
But they asked Gretzky, like, what was it about you that made you so much better than everybody? And he said, I was small. He grew up as like a 12-year-old playing against 16-year-olds, so he was always the smallest kid on the ice. So he had to be smarter than everybody, and he had to learn where the puck was going to go before it got there. And that was his thing, is like he just had this second nature knack of knowing, okay, it's working its way around the boards. It's going to go here. I better go here because it's going to get there, or it's going to be there for me. And he could just do that better than anybody. Also, he was a sniper. Also, he was a fantastic passer and all those things. But the mental side of the game was huge for him. All right, a couple of things I want to get to in the comments. I'm sorry, I saw someone early on said that Seth Jones was missing in action. I'm going to take issue with that. Seth Jones played 26:08 in this game. Stopped a couple goals from happening where there were net front scrambles and he tied up sticks and did all those things. He had 2 shots on goal. He had a hit. He had a takeaway. He had a block shot. He was doing Seth Jones things. And is he perfect? No. That ship has sailed, but to call him a non-factor is a little bit odd. You got to watch the game closely because there's so many little things that he does that don't show up on a stat sheet. And he's, on his own, stopped at least 2 Winnipeg goals from being scored in this game. So, and look, he's the only guy in your team that can really move the puck with any consistency. So I thought he was fine in this one.
Yeah.
Not great, but fine.
Look, the people who hate on Seth Jones, I'm watching the same games you guys are. I'm seeing the same things you are negatively. Like, there are a lot of things that Seth Jones could be doing better, but there's also a lot of things that no one else on this team is going to do that he can do.
Yeah. And
I think if you look at how the team played when he was gone and how inept they were on the blue line, like, yeah, adding him in, does he make you defensively better? Not really. But offensively, where this team is terrible, is he a plus offensively? Yes, he is.
Yeah.
So, look, like, I don't know. I'm just getting... it's fatigue to have to defend Jones when
it's night after night. I mean, and it's
and I'm not trying to say like Seth Jones is a Norris candidate. Why don't you
course
people
not.
believe me? Like, no, he's
course
not.
not.
But he's a guy that can be a number one on most NHL teams, and he's playing as the only offensive option on this Blackhawks team. Like, your other offensive options are Caleb Jones, Philip Roos, and Ian Mitchell, who have all either been scratched or in Rockford this season.
Right.
So what else can he do?
I someone in the chat said that predictably I'm saying that Seth Jones is amazing. I've never said Seth Jones is amazing. It's Nicholas there at the bottom. I've never called Seth Jones amazing. I've never said he's a Norris candidate. I just think it's really tired and lazy to see a guy who plays 26 minutes at all strengths, prevents 2 goals from being scored, and you say he's missing in action. It's just not. It's not reality. He is a below average number 1. Yeah. Right? He's a very good number 2. Yeah. Probably like on a cup contender. An elite number 3 maybe. Yes, the guy before traded too much to get him and paid him probably $1 million more than he's worth. But it's done. What's done is done. You can't. Someone has to be the scapegoat here, and for it to be Seth Jones,
if it's not Seth Jones, it's Caleb Jones,
who's playing his ass off, doing the best he can. What the hell do you want these
guys to do?
I don't know. It's weird. It's weird, if anything.
There's other players on this team that are underperforming and do not get the hate that Seth Jones does,
and that comes with the contract. I get that.
It does.
I get it.
It does, but it's like we say on this show often, it's not your money.
Right.
Don't worry about it.
I get that he should be held to a higher standard because of his salary. I think that's true, but I feel like what happens with Seth Jones is, unless he is basically perfect during the course of a game, he's ridiculed. Yeah. He is what he is.
Even on good nights.
Yeah. It's just, I don't know. I just get tired of it being the same hatred for him. And look, 2 or 3 games ago, he had a terrible game.
Yeah. And
we said so. I said so. It's not, I'm not on the Seth Jones payroll. I just want it to be fair. And I feel like it's been pretty unfair to him since he got here. That's all.
I think that's fair. I think there's enough people on the interwebs that point out all of the microcosm small things and blow them up, that we get it, we've heard it, but let's also give him credit for what he's trying to do, trying to accomplish on this team in this roster. So
there's a play tonight. Seth Jones is at the Hawks blue line, and whoever the left winger was sends a pass back to him, but it's like shin high between his legs, and he tries to tries to bat it out of the air. He's got 2 Jets on him, and he's like, crap. Of course the puck gets away from him. He skates back and prevents a scoring chance. People are going to look at that as a Seth Jones turnover. It's a hand grenade at his feet, and he's got 2 guys coming at him. What can he do? And I think it's too. He has got this microscope on him because of the trade, because of the contract, and all those things, where every mistake he makes is, overanalyzed. You gotta look at the totality of the play and what's happening. And again, he makes plenty of mistakes every night. Again, he's overpaid. They gave up too much to get him. When you see Dougie Hamilton doing what he's doing in New Jersey, he who shall not be named could have had him for just the contract without the trade, right? And I know that's frustrating, but it's over. So all I'm saying is, let's look at Seth Jones in a fair way.
Yeah.
That's it. He is imperfect, but for a guy to play 26 minutes and finished even in a game you lost, I don't know. I just find it hard to say he was terrible or he was missing in action. I just think that's unfair. That's all.
Ryan in the chat says, Seth Jones reminds me a lot of Seabrook, to be honest. The difference is Seabrook was on elite teams where he had elite players around him. Yep. That's very well put, Ryan. The contract is what people are pissed about, and it translates to, he didn't score 4 goals tonight, so he's a chud. Let's I don't know. It's
verified chudwack.
It is what it is, and I think there's, you try and not be bothered by the losses, knowing that this season is a tank season. So you got to be bothered by something, I guess.
I guess so. Anyway,
it's more Seth Jones bothersome talk than I was expecting. But he was he the first star tonight for the Blackhawks? No, he wasn't.
Nope.
But it's there's more things that he does that are meaningful to the team than times where he puts them in a hole.
Yeah, absolutely. Two other guys who we focus on tonight. Actually, three. Jared Tenorti returned to the lineup unexpectedly. Then we got to find out what happened. When Greg joins us here in a bit, we'll probably find out. Played a shift, and then there was blood all over the ice that they had to clean up. Mm-hmm. And then Tenorti came out in the second period with a full face shield. So don't know if he got cut up or if something maybe broke. I don't know
if it was a puck or a stick
something.
Caught on. I didn't.
But for him to miss almost the
him.
entirety of the first.
Yeah, he had to get probably some X-rays or maybe some stitches or something. Well, yeah, because they had to get the blood off the ice, so he had to get probably some stitch work done, and I don't know, maybe lost a tooth or something.
Yeah. So we'll find out about that.
See what happens.
He was fine when he played. He didn't play too much, considering he missed an entire period. But looked solid for a guy who we didn't really think was going to play until the game began. 10:46. He was a +1 actually with 3 hits. That's your Jared Tenorti game. Sam Lafferty returned to the lineup, and I had him the other night as my most disappointing player. Only 13 minutes in this one. You can see the speed he brings. He was playing with that speed. Think maybe still a little bit tentative because of the back, but they're a much faster team, and I will say a better team when Sam Lafferty is on the ice. So hopefully, as he kind of gets his groove back, like Stella, he can kind of find his game again, because he did kind of drop off after that hot start. So good to have him back. He's definitely one of the better players on that bottom six.
Yeah,
that's for sure. Today he centered the fourth line and won 5 faceoffs and lost 1. So effective at the dot. So welcome back, Sam Lafferty. And the other guy.
A couple people in the chat here saying that it was pointed out on the broadcast that we missed it since we were at the UC. Pointed out on the broadcast that a skate was what caught Tenorti. So
yeah,
eesh.
That's
well,
no good.
Good that he came back. So
it was that was maybe the first whistle of the game or something.
Yeah, it was like
brought out the scrapers, and the shovels, and
not even 2 full minutes in, and then it was this like extra long delay.
Yeah. And what did you think of Ian Mitchell's game tonight? -2, 15-32.
Yeah,
1 shot attempt and a giveaway.
I think I think there were a few times where offensively he was a little bit more noticeable, taking some chances to kind of pinch in and keep pucks in the zone, which I thought was good. But yeah, I mean, being a -2, it's rough. He's a guy that's trying to stick in the lineup, stick in the NHL. I think he was a little bit more noticeable. I originally. Looked like he was going to be with McCabe, and then McCabe and Mitchell, and the defensive pairings got jumbled up, obviously with Tenorti being out. But even into the second and third periods, the defensive pairings were kind of all jumbled up. So I don't know if Richardson was just trying to see what's throwing a couple things at the wall, see what sticks. But I think Mitchell did okay. I don't think he did a lot that, at least for me, didn't do a lot that was just like, well, sit him or send him down. I think there's probably still some flexibility with the defensive side of things to give him another game or two with the rotation of Jones and Roos and himself. So I still think it's too early in him being up to, I think, make a definitive point about where he goes, Rockford, Chicago, or trade. But we're getting to a point where I think the Blackhawks kind of have to make a decision about what is Caleb Jones, what is Ian Mitchell, what is Philip Roos, and what are their futures, because all three of them, they're all kind of neck and neck. None of them have stood out enough. But I think Ian Mitchell should get at least a little bit more of an opportunity to do that. And if he takes it, great. If he doesn't, you got to figure something out with him.
I did my best to focus on him when he was on the ice, and it's tough during the course of a game, to focus on one guy. But You can see the offensive ability. You can see the puck movement. You can see it feels like the hockey sense is there. The Perfetti goal, the first goal of the game, Mitchell's got to be physical on that one. Perfetti just kind of walked around him, and that was it, and he kind of gave a half-hearted poke check at it. And I think part of that can be, not feeling totally confident in your game, trying not to make a mistake, trying not to overcommit. It's like what Luke Richardson said the other day that I like so much is when you're in the NHL, you're an NHL player. Act like it, right? Play your game, do what got you here. I would like to see him. He's never going to be a Jared Tenorti, Jake McCabe, knock you on your ass type of defenseman.
No.
But at least use your body to get in the skater's way instead of just poke it away, because Perfetti made it look easy on that one.
Yeah, and Perfetti's not that physically imposing for an NHL
No,
player, so
not
that's
at
a guy
all.
that Ian Mitchell could, equal up physically.
Yeah, but you can see the puck movement, you can see the offensive game, and because the Hawks lack that so much, I'd like to see him get an extended look. And I don't know who has to sit, but he played 15:32 in this one, including 2:05 on the power play. So he got a lot of power play time and looked okay. I don't think he did anything to warrant getting benched by any means. So give him a few more games, see what happens. And I know that, Luke likes to rotate and not keep guys sitting too long.
Yeah.
But I don't know,
I feel like a rotation is probably inevitable.
Yeah.
It'll probably. I feel like it's just with these three. It just seems like what they finished last season with, where it was Stillman and Caleb Jones, and who was he rotating with? I don't even remember. Blocked it out. But anyways, it just seems like it's going to be just a continuous rotation until one of them either stands out enough to where it's just like, all right, he is our sixth defenseman and we're rolling with him, or one of them plays so poorly that it's just like, all right, kick him down to Rockford or see what happens.
hasn't been either.
There.
That's
Well,
the thing.
Mitchell's gone back and forth a little bit. I don't think they're going to ever send Caleb Jones to Rockford.
And if you send Roos down,
if you send Roos down, there's an opportunity
go
for
back to Europe.
his Swedish club to say, well, we would like him back, please. So yeah, I think that probably plays into that as well. So I don't know. I do wonder though if at some point the Blackhawks entertain the idea of moving one of Caleb Jones or Ian Mitchell, because they're both on expiring contracts. If neither of them steps up and solidifies their spot on the roster, do you really see them as part of the future? I don't know.
No.
I'd hate to punt on Ian Mitchell still
Yeah,
at 23 years old.
I would
but
say
I
he's
don't
got
know.
more potential to be a future Hawk than Caleb does.
Right? Yeah.
So I think Caleb's got a little more NHL. I don't think
He has-
so.
he
I know
has
so.
more NHL
He's got more
experience,
NHL
yeah.
experience, so it might have a little more trade value to a team that's trying to add some depth. How much? Who knows?
Right.
It could be a future considerations thing, but look, it wouldn't shock me with Tenorti coming off IR today if Ian Mitchell is sent down tomorrow morning.
Right.
That could very well happen.
Yeah.
So it's just it's tough. It sucks so bad for him that he got hurt before camp.
Yeah.
Because
He
it was such
good.
an opportunity for him to earn a spot, and because he was so good in Rockford last year.
Mhm. He was a big contributor.
Yeah.
I would have.
sorry.
No, I was just going to reiterate. I would have loved to have seen him at the start of the season when this team had a little bit more of that energy of like, we're going to show you guys, and they did for a few weeks, and then now it's kind of regressed back and fizzled out, and that's kind of when he jumped into the lineup when that steam had all worn off. But yeah, the situation that we're in.
We got a comment from No Roids Just Rage in the chat, and he says, I just hate that none of these prospects are standing out that the Hawks are eventually going to rely on. I would say
None of them are here
yeah, and
in Chicago.
I mean, even if you look at Rockford, Reichel,
definitely is.
Phillips.
Isaac Phillips definitely is. He had another assist tonight.
Who else? Who else do you say when they're ready to compete again, that's playing in Rockford or Chicago will be here again. Will be here.
I think there's a case you can make for Philip Kurashev.
Yes,
who was effective tonight again.
Raddysh is making his case.
Yeah, if you could be like maybe a bottom six scoring option, like a third line scoring option, that would be good. Reichel, I think, is like we said on the last show. I think when he gets the definitive "you are now in the NHL" call up, I think we'll see a little bit of a boost in his confidence, and that should translate on the ice. Isaac Phillips, I think, has a really good shot of doing that defensively. I don't count out Alec Regula or Alex Vlasic potentially having, maybe a bottom pairing role. Two guys that have size that can skate well for their size. Soderblom, I think, is going to be one of the goalies when this team is ready to compete again. Other than that, I don't have a great feeling about Josiah Slavin. Like maybe, but maybe not. I don't. As far as the rest of the prospects go, Jakub Galvis, maybe not. I think the guys that you're looking at that are like, okay, when they're contenders, they're going to be here. I think the guys that you're really banking on are Korchinski, Del Mastro, potentially Nolan Allen,
Nazar.
You really hope so. Sam Renzel, maybe Connor Bedard or Adam Fantilli or whoever they draft this summer. I think those are the guys you're really banking on. And besides that, I mean, it's all guys that could have some roles, but I think the ones that you're really banking on, there's a handful of them, which is good. It's a good start to a rebuild to have a handful of guys you can point at and say, okay, I see the future here with these guys. And this summer's draft, I think, is going to just kind of cycle in another 2 or 3 or 4 of those guys, which would be great.
Nate has a good point. He says, let's be honest about the Hawks prospects at the NHL and AHL level. The reason the Hawks system rank jumped was because of this year's draft class. Otherwise, they were bottom third. That's correct.
Yeah,
that's correct.
Absolutely.
And that has to go back to the previous regime who was going year to year, right? Like, let's just try to get what we can out of this core and what remains of the core and try to keep winning, and didn't really prioritize development. They rushed the good prospects that they drafted, from Jokiharju to Boquist to Doc.
Even Ian Mitchell.
Yes, Ian Mitchell, what was that, 3 years ago?
Yeah.
Started the season here. Mm-hmm. And was like, oh, yeah, he could be a second pairing guy. Like,
he wasn't ready.
No. And now almost all of them are gone, right?
Yeah.
So that's it. The guys that were going to get you to that next generation have been traded. Mm. And that's the very frustrating part. Greg Boysen is set to join us from the United Center here in moments. But first, Mario's going to tell you about Pins and Aces.
I'll tell you guys about Pins and Aces for all you golf and polo wearing fans out there. Pins and Aces is the official golf apparel partner of CHGO. They're also the presenting sponsor of the Big Drive Energy podcast on the All City Network. And they make the most amazing polos, hats, golf bags out on the golf courses. And, of course, the fan favorite beer sleeve, the product that allows you to store up to 7 of your favorite beers right inside of your golf bag and keep those drinks cold the entire round. It is the holiday season, and we just do have just about 17 today. Oh, it says the 9th. Just about 15 days left in the holiday shopping season. Be sure to get the golfer in your life decked out in the best gear possible. Do that by going to pinsandaces.com and filling up that online shopping cart. And when you do, go to checkout, use the promo code CHGO, and you're going to receive 15% off of your first order, and you're going to get free shipping on that order. Again, that is pinsandaces.com. Do it. Do it now.
Do it now. And we just got our pairs of Shady Rays in to the office. We placed a big order as a company, and man, they are sweet.
They're nice
I
sunglasses.
heard Greg was hyping them up before I saw them, and Greg wouldn't sell you anything that's not true.
That's true.
But the quality of these glasses are insane, and you would think with such high quality they'd be really expensive. Nope. Shady Rays never understood why sunglasses were so expensive, so they set out to change it. You don't have to break the bank for quality sunglasses this fall or winter because our friends at Shady Rays have you covered. They're premium, polarized shades featuring world-class optical clarity, substantial durability, and styles catered to everyone and every lifestyle. That snow, when it comes, and it's coming, it is real bright, and snow blindness is real.
Put a blanket down in my neighborhood.
Yeah, get yourself a pair of Shady Rays, because guess what? If you're snow blowing the lawn and they fall off your face and they get caught up in the snow blower, don't worry. Shady Rays has your back. If you lose them, if you break them, they will send you a new pair, no questions asked. Even on that strong of a protection plan, they still manage to make quality that I can tell you, holding in my hand, they seem just as good as any expensive pair of sunglasses I've ever owned. Shady Rays customers seem to agree with over 200,000 5-star reviews. That's over 1 million stars, my friends. And exclusively for our listeners, Shady Rays is running their deepest deal of the season. Use code CHGO for 50% off 2 or more pairs at shadyrays.com. That's buy one, get one free. You can get 2 pairs for as low as $54. Redeem only at shadyrays.com, where you can find all their newest and best shades. And they've got, if you know a skier in your life or you're a skier, they've got the ski goggles, all sort of stuff. Stock up for the holidays, save money, and win Christmas or whatever holidays you celebrate at shadyrays.com with that code CHGO. All right, let's go out to the United Center and bring in our buddy, our pal, Greg Boysen. What's up, Greg?
Hello, boys. Didn't think I was going to make it before the show was going to be over.
Yeah, what
happened?
What happened with the delay?
Luke had some stuff and things he needed to settle before meeting with us chums from the media. He was asked about it. Phil Thompson, always ready to ask the hard-hitting questions. But we were joking. Maybe they're having a coaches-only meeting, but no, he had to. He was checking in on some injuries, Jared Tenorti, and he also said he had to have a little chat with Kyle Davidson for some roster moves coming. He mentioned the fact that they have a goalie on in Jackson Stauber on emergency recall, and they can't send him back to Rockford until they have another goalie on the roster. They have to have 2 active goalies on the roster. So he said they had to discuss that situation. So,
oh boy.
And earlier today, he mentioned that Peter Mrazek was actually closer to returning than Alex Stalock was. So
okay.
We'll see how that works out.
So maybe they activate Mrazek before Tuesday or on Tuesday, and then just have him back up.
Could be.
Yeah,
it's not a bad idea.
They're going to have 2 or 3 days of practice before the next game, so they can be a better idea. You can always, send Stauber back, activate Mrazek, and then if you have to recall him again,
sure,
you call him. But you can't send Stauber back without activating one of those guys to the roster. So that's what we were told.
I'm laughing at No Roy's Just Rage says Mrazek closer to returning to pull his 4th groin.
Ugh.
Oh, man.
I think we need to actually get him a 3rd and a 4th groin. It might actually.
I'm not going to donate mine. I need mine.
Does Shady Groins have a BOGO program that we can hook him up with?
Shady Groins.
What happened to Jared Tenorti's face? Do we have any clarity on that?
He took a skate to the chin, according to paraphrasing Luke Richardson. It opened him up pretty well, and he had to get layers of stitches. And the reason it took him to the second period to return is that's how long it took him to sew him up.
Yikes.
Oh, my God. Layers of stitches?
Layers of stitches. I believe I saw layers of stitches open for the Counting Crows back in 1998.
Good. I hope you got your money back. What do you think about the effort in this one? We were talking, waiting for you. Another one of these classic Blackhawks, played hard, loved the game, those sort of things, but fall short. What did Luke think?
But did they really play that hard? Neither Seth Jones nor Luke Richardson was happy with the first period. They said they weren't touching guys. They made it too easy for guys like Josh Morrissey. There was no the physicality they wanted to play with it wasn't there in the first period. Both Jones and Richardson said it got better in the second, and then in the third it was there, but they were playing with desperation, falling behind again. We've heard that 100 times, and so I don't think they were super happy with the start of the game. They said they were very slow, and it was hard to get into any kind of flow because that first period was like every 6 seconds there was a whistle. 27 seconds into the game, you're spending 3 minutes scraping up the trail of blood Jared Tenorti led out there, and then it seemed that there was an offside or an icing or a goalie stoppage every 5 seconds. That was maybe the worst period of hockey I've watched all season, just for the fact that it just kept going.
It was definitely a slog, but you could see there is maybe Luke didn't get to this specifically, but clearly in the second period, there was an immediate response in a different field of the game. Things started getting physical quick. The Jack Johnson situation with newly confirmed pug whack Axel Janssen Fjallby, great name, but a complete pug whack for pushing Jack Johnson's elderly head into the ice. That's elder abuse. You can't do that. And when you see Jack Johnson get pissed, you know you did something pug wackian. So.
Yeah, I said that in the press box. Like, man, you really have to screw up to get Jack Johnson, the nicest guy in hockey I've ever met, get that mad. He was furious.
Yeah, he was bouncing his head off the ice. You never want to.
Goes around, comes around.
Yeah. What was the what did Seth Jones kind of have to say from his perspective of the game, where he just had another stereotypical Seth Jones kind of game where he's trying to be one of the most offensive guys on the team, but then it's just not coming. This is the first goal that they've scored in the last 3 games, and it just seems like the offense is just not there on a nightly basis.
Yeah, he didn't really go into too many specifics about the offense. He was talking mostly about the overall effort, but he did mention it's tough when you're playing from behind and then you spend a lot of time defending. Like, they didn't have enough time with the puck until midway through that second period. Things started to change a little bit. He did say that eventually they have to start getting wins for Arvid Soderblom, who just had another amazing game. I'm sure he's getting another CHGO award here if you haven't given it out already. He just says, Arvid, we pat him on the back when he needs, but he doesn't really need it. He's always calm. He's always even keeled. But he even admitted saying that, we got to get this kid a win because he's doing everything he can to keep us in games, and we just keep blowing it. We can't score for him.
All right, we are kind of short on time, so let's get to our 3 stars of the game here. 4 stars of the game. Sorry, I'm a star short. The 3 stars of the game in this one, number 3 was Adam Lowry from the Jets. He had a goal. Blake Wheeler, the number 2 star, a goal and 6 shots on goal. And Josh Morrissey, 2 more assists. He has 25 assists this season. Josh Morrissey is picking up those points.
Yeah.
Yeah, seriously, feels that way, doesn't it?
I think he
had 6 against the Blackhawks.
Yeah.
7 now. 7.
God
7.
dang.
Yeah, he back-to-back games between the Blackhawks and Jets at the United Center in which Josh Morrissey is the number 1 star. Good for him.
Yep. My 4th star is going to Jake McCabe. That dude sacrificed his soul in this game, as he does all the time. He's credited with 3 block shots. I don't know if they stopped counting after 1 shift, because there was one shift where he blocked a shot from like a foot away and was clearly pained and stayed on the ice, kept killing the penalty. Then later in the shift got hit again, another hard block shot. Man, the more I watch this guy play and him finally looking like completely healthy, considering he had spinal surgery a few months ago, I freaking love Jake McCabe. And I was saying, was it here? I was saying, that if this team was more on the radar of Chicago, he would be a fan favorite, and we'd be seeing number 6 jerseys all over the United Center, because the dude's an absolute badass. And when you talk about, the stereotypical Blackhawk. Jake McCabe fits that bill, man. He is just a bad dude. He comes with bad intentions when the forwards come his way and just gives everything he has every shift. I love Jake McCabe. He's my current favorite Blackhawk. 21-48, 5 hits, 3 block shots. He's my 4-star. I think I claimed that in the first period, by the way.
Yeah, you did. Yeah.
Yeah, you might as well might as well leave him up there. He's our CHGO 4-star of the season. Just because I'm giving my 4-star to a guy that is slowly climbing up the rankings on the Blackhawks badass scale, and that's Reese Johnson. He didn't do anything that really sticks out on the score sheet, but in the second period, Dylan DeMail took a little high hit on Colin Blackwell, and Reese Johnson punched him in the skull repeatedly. Like, didn't even think twice, just jumped on him. And that's twice in the last 3 games he's gone out and defended his teammate. He fought Casey Zizekas for payback for taking out Alex Stalock. Alex Stalock said after morning skate yesterday that he really appreciated that happen. And I specifically asked Luke Richardson after the game tonight about Reese Johnson and plays like that, and if he was frustrated that they didn't get a power play out of that it all evened out. And he said, you know what, Reese Johnson, we will give up a power play for Reese Johnson sticking up for a teammate every single time. And actually said that Reese Johnson has the top compete level on the entire team, and it just it rubs off on his teammates. And so Reese Johnson, for punching a guy in the head that tried to take advantage of your teammate, gets my 4-star.
Fair.
Impressive.
I in a game like this, that is just fine with me. My 4-star of the night goes to Arvid Soderblom. Soderblom, as people are still confused about the name.
Soderblom.
There he is.
Soderblom.
He definitely deserves much better as far as results go for the efforts that he is putting out every night that he starts for the Blackhawks. He's just every time I watch him play, the more I am convinced he is the best goalie that they have right now.
Yep.
And the weirder it's going to be when and if eventually both Peter Mrazek and Alex Stalock are healthy and back in the lineup, that it'll be like, all right, Arvid, go back to Rockford. It's just like, it's just gonna be so weird to be like, well, he's the best one.
Yeah.
But that's the plan. The plan was supposed to be for him to be in Rockford all season. So I give it to Arvid tonight. He made some incredible saves. This game could have been another seven goal game for the Jets if it weren't for the effort of Soderblom tonight. So gonna go with him.
Couple saves with pizzazz too.
Yeah,
Flashing the leather a little bit.
I want to give an honorary 4-star to our guy Charlie, the bacon guy, for
there you go.
with these sweet lids. Thanks, Charlie. I see you in the chat. This is gonna be awesome. Walking through that empty parking lot with the wind blowing in my face. This is gonna keep me warm all the way back to the car here in a few minutes. So Shout out to our guy Charlie.
I visited Charlie during the first intermission, and he had gifts for all of us, and as always, just reeking of bacon.
Loved it.
Just in the best way possible. All right, we got our 4 stars underway. Let's give our DraftKings King of the Game. King of the game, and this one goes to Taylor Raddysh. A goal, a shot that's 100% shooting, my friends. Nice. A takeaway, which he did before scoring the goal. All this happened in one play.
He's the king for this one play.
I really think, though, that he's been playing pretty well lately. Mm-hmm. I really like his game. It's coming around. I think that line has found some chemistry, which I really like. So Taylor Raddysh, DraftKings King of the Game. Use that code CHGO at DraftKings. Do that, use it. That's good for us when you do that sort of stuff. And, of course, before we wrap up, time for the tank standings. And it's a big night in the tank standing land.
Yes, good tank standing.
Yes, sir.
It'll be the biggest night in the tank standings.
All right, so here's the news, gang. The Blue Jackets beat the Flames 3-1.
Johnny Gaudreau gets his revenge.
The Coyotes beat the Bruins 4-3.
The game-winning goal coming 13 seconds left in regulation.
Yep. So there you go. And, of course, the Blackhawks lose. So let's take a look at the tank standings.
I am late on that, guys. I'll have that in just a second.
Oh, my
My
goodness.
mistake. I thought I exported it.
That's all right. We got a new feature we're going to do after the tank standings now, too. We're going to go to tankathon.com, and we're going to simulate. We're just going to hit the draft lottery simulator one time and see what happens.
We can also say that the Sharks are beating the Ducks 4-1.
Yeah, the Sharks are up 4-1.
So the Ducks
So
will not leapfrog the Blackhawks.
keep that one in mind, too.
And I did already put the Sharks as winning this one.
Okay, fair enough.
Okay.
Wow, they're going to
That's
be...
a fair
Here we go,
assumption.
guys.
All right, here we go. So Anaheim...
This is not the right one. I am sorry.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, we were
What is-
struggling today.
Oh, man.
amateur hour going on over here. No, it's cool. To take people behind the scenes. Steven has to do all this stuff as the show's happening, as games are ending, back and forth. It's really a difficult thing to do during the course of a game. So we give Steven all the time he needs here. But there we go.
This
okay.
is the one.
No,
There it
this
is.
is
Sure
right.
of it. This is it.
So Anaheim still leads the tank standings, but only by a single point. They've got 17 points in 28 games, 7, 18, and 3. God, with all that firepower, how is that possible? The Hawks currently second in the tank standings with 18 points in 26 games. They're 7, 15, and 4.
Well.
Arizona, with the win, has 20 points. They're third, 8, 13, and 4 in 25 games. Columbus, they pick up their 20th point of the season tonight, 9, 15, and 2 in 26 games. And Ottawa, 22 points in 26 games. They're 10, 14, and 2. So there's your top 5. Hawks, number 2, and falling
Number 2.
as we go here. So before we wrap the show up, we're going to call up
A live lottery.
Tankathon on your screen. You can see it there. And we're going to simulate the draft lottery and see where the lottery balls fall.
Ready, guys?
Let's do it.
Here we go. This is updated.
All right.
Oh,
All right.
number
gross.
Adam Fantilli is a Chicago Blackhawk. Hey, that's a lot better than our test simulation we did before the show, Greg.
That was a bad one.
Where the Washington Capitals got the number 1 overall pick. Wouldn't that be rich?
We have lost Greg.
Oh, I think we lost Greg. But anyway, that's what
They
happened.
shut the power off at the
They
UC.
did. They just unplugged him. They turned off the Wi-Fi. So yeah, we simulated before the show, and the Capitals got the number 1
Capitals jumped
pick.
up 11 spots, which
Yeah.
I was just like, we said right when that happened, we were like, wait, isn't the rule this year where you can't win from like spot number 14, like the rule now? I don't know.
what I
I
thought.
have to go back and look at it.
Well,
but
Tankathon knows what they're doing. They've been doing it for years. But
Yeah.
yeah, this is a better outcome. Hawks pick second. San Jose gets the number 1 pick.
yeah.
Fine.
Listen, being number 2 in this draft is not the worst thing. Being number 3 might be.
Speaking of that, if you missed yesterday's episode with Cam Robinson, go back and listen. It was fantastic. Cam is the video analyst for Elite Prospects and gave us the lowdown on Bedard, Fantilli, Mitchkov, Leo Carlson, all the guys who are going to be in that realm for the Blackhawks. Made really good NHL comps for Bedard, NHL comps for Fantilli. Both very, very exciting. Go back and listen to yesterday's podcast. It was terrific if you missed it.
And
Yeah.
I love the comment he made that said, about the gap between Bedard and Fantilli. Like, it's still clearly Connor Bedard's draft class. Like, that's not going to change. But he said, like, the team who drafts number 2, which according to Tankathon tonight was the Blackhawks, he said that team is still getting a number 1 overall quality player. So if the Blackhawks finish this season and in the draft lottery get the number 2 pick, Adam Fantilli will be the best player that will come to the Blackhawks system. And if Kane is gone at some point before the draft and the Blackhawks get Adam Fantilli, he may be the best player they have when the season starts.
Yes.
It'll be interesting to see.
I'm looking to find out where the Tampa pick would be. It would be 22nd right now. They have the 10th best record in the league.
Not bad.
So not bad. Not as bad as it could have been. That's for damn sure.
Yeah, I mean, if they end up going on a run, it gets lower in the first round, but what are you going to do?
Yeah. No Roy's just rage says, let's say the 3rd overall pick team wants Fantilli and want to trade to the Hawks for the 2nd. No, I'm taking, if I have the chance at Bedard, I'm taking Bedard. if the Hawks have the second pick and it's Fantilli, I take Fantilli. I'm not trading down. Now, if they get 3, maybe then you talk about trading down for like quick picks for a couple picks right after that.
Maybe.
I mean, like 5 and something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Not trading.
There would
far
have
down.
to be a team that has both of those picks. I don't. Without looking at it right now, I don't know if that's a possibility. But yeah.
Well, I mean, if the team with the
there's-
5th pick says we'll give you our 5th and our 2nd in a first next year or something. you can
yeah,
make something
I
like
would
that
entertain
happen.
that.
Yeah. Anyway, we got some time to think about that.
Hopefully, we don't have to be in that position.
No, let's hope it's
Let's
1 or
just be
2
number 1.
and call it a day. All right, we're going to wrap things up. Thanks for joining us here on a late night. We appreciate it. If on your way out, if you haven't done it yet, please smash that like button for us. Make sure you're subscribed to our YouTube page and subscribe wherever you get your podcast. And one final reminder, we've got our Bulls takeover happening on December 16th. Tickets to the game against the New York Knickerbockers, pregame drinks and food at Crossroads on Madison, a free shuttle to and from the game. Go to allchgo.com to purchase your tickets. And as always, diehards save 20% on all CHGO events. So become a diehard at allchgo.com. For Greg Boysen, who's on his way home, and Mario, I'm Jay. Thanks for listening to the CHGO Blackhawks podcast.